best version of Sandstorm.
They always used to talk about the Pac-12. I think these people here in South Carolina wanted some Pac-12 action.
Here we go. Max Kelly kicking it off to Brennan Scott. And South Carolina State will set up shop at the 25. The Gamecocks won the toss. They deferred. So that means Chennis Berry's offense will be out on the field to get things started. Last week in their opening victory against Wofford, Charles, they used 2 quarterbacks. Who is it going to be to start week 2 here? And there it is. The answer is Billy Atkins. For the second straight week, he gets the start, threw for 175 yards in his 3rd career start. He's the 5th-year senior from Baltimore who's going to start this thing here. They'll also use Ryan Stubblefield at times tonight. And we got a flag coming from the back judge, by the way, before we get started.
They've been waiting so long, the officials wanted to get into the mix.
There was a malfunction of the play clock. Please reset the play clock to 25 seconds. Thank you.
That's okay. They're making sure everything is functioning right. I like that.
Boy, Lee is he's catching some strays from the fans here who have waited about 2 hours and 23 minutes. Kickoff was supposed to be just a couple of minutes after 7. And so away we go, just shy of 9:30. And so it's Atkins rolling out. Takes a big hit after a minimal gain. Brandon Cisse, that's their veteran corner, comes up to make the stop.
Smart, fast, and physical is what Brandon says he wants to be known as. The transfer from North Carolina State gets over there in a hurry. This defense, man, will fly to the football. It was really good talking to Clayton White yesterday, the defensive coordinator, about his group. With all the losses, they still play fast and furious.
5th-year DC, and he oversaw one of the more vaunted defenses in the league last year. Dylan Stewart nearly gets KZ Adams in the backfield. And again, it's marginal gain. Cisse with back-to-back tackles, so it's 3rd and long.
We're calling names early of guys that can make plays. And Stewart on the outside 6 with the great hands and gets off. Doesn't make the tackle on KZ Adams, but still able to get there.
3rd down for the defending MEAC champs right out of the chute. Carolina rushes 4. Atkins steps up, zips it, pass is caught. That's Jalen Johnson, their top target coming into this season with a big 1st down.
Jalen Johnson with a great ability to go across the middle of the field. You're going to see a real nice job by the quarterback with pressure coming. But Jalen Johnson had 7 catches for 98 yards last week. A very good weapon, and this is what you have to do to a South Carolina defense.
It's a significant 25-yard pickup there. And we've got some movement. And you're going to back up the Bulldogs 5 yards here.
That's a 5-yard penalty, and it remains 1st down.
It's Moses Umorin, the left tackle.
Yeah, he was a little early.
So Chennis Berry, last year's coach of the year out of the MEAC. He guided this program from a losing record before he took the job to a 9-win campaign and a league championship. Went back to the Celebration Bowl a year ago.
Yeah, been a winner wherever he's been.
Yep. Columbia, familiar ground for him. Spent several years as the head man at Benedict, Division II school here in Columbia. Atkins had to get rid of that one very quickly. And so after the incompletion, 2nd and 15, Thomas was breathing down his neck. It was a terrific 2024 season for the Bulldogs. Again, Berry takes over a program that had a couple of so-so years. They were below 500 the year before he took the job. They were one of the more explosive offenses in the league. Yeah. And so gone, though, is their terrific signal caller, Eric Phoenix. And Atkins with the 2nd straight start. Adams straight ahead for a gain of 6. So it sets up 4th, or rather 3rd.
You're going to see some different guys in that backfield running the football. That was the one thing we talked about. You got KZ Adams, Tyler Smith, and Mason Pickett Hicks.
Another third down and long for South Carolina State. Line to gain is the 38. Atkins, quick drop, lofts it over the middle, little too tall. And he was looking for Johnson that time, so it's fourth down.
Yeah, you got a couple of guys down, but he just couldn't quite get the ball to him. You know, one thing is you're going to have pressure, and you know it's coming to your face, and then you have to get the ball out quickly. Good coverage there on the defense as well.
Charles, couple of injured players right near the original line of scrimmage. You see, that's Brian Thomas, a senior captain, who walks back to the South Carolina side on his own power. KZ Adams, that's the feature back for the Bulldogs this year. He was able to walk off as well. They both were hobbled.
Yeah, they both kind of got caught up in the wash over there. And South Carolina State with one nice first down, a big play before that play.
So
now you have to be careful with Vakari Swain back there.
Look out, Elliot Janish, first-year starting punter for the Bulldogs, about to kick away to Vakari Swain. Took one to the house, the last punt he returned last week against Virginia Tech. And Janish is going to pin him inside the 10-yard line. So that's a 41-yard punt, and the Gamecocks will be backed up close to their own end zone. So Charles, we talked about it right off the top. The hype, it is real surrounding this guy. There's Lenoris Sellers, redshirt sophomore from Florence, South Carolina. He's one of the most dynamic players in college football. Last year won the SEC Freshman of the Year award. Finished top 10 in the league in a number of categories.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, he wanted to improve on his passing. He wanted to be more anticipatory. And talking to Mike Shula, those were the things they were working on. And they felt like that's where he's going to really hit his stride.
Couple of touchdowns last week in the win against the Hokies. He's looking this way. That pass is incomplete. He was looking for Oscar Attaway, who gets the start in the backfield once again.
Yeah, went through the progressions and came down to Attaway. Attaway couldn't quite come up with it. Transfer out of North Texas.
He was the breakout star in the league a year ago, and you nailed it. The key this year is how big of a step forward can he take on the ground to Attaway. That's the second-year Gamecock, and the veteran will get it close to the line to gain. Will be third and short after a pickup of 7.
Yeah, the big offensive line just came off on that one and created a hole in a space for Attaway.
So they'll say about 3rd and 2. High snap on the ground. Attaway stuffed at the line. And so that'll bring up 4th down. It was Rashawn Washington who led the way, the edge rusher for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, when you run on the inside, you better be ready for big guys that can come inside. Rashawn Washington, 44, just comes in and blows everything up, and it allows the rest of those guys to get there.
So Mason Love to punt it away. And the Gamecocks, they pick up 1 first down, but then give it right back. Fair catch, and so the Bulldogs will have it when we return at the 36-yard line. 50-yard punt for Love. Seasoned against the Hokies, a unique and special game for a lot of reasons. More on that in a few moments. Lenoris Sellers got things started with the touchdown run. South Carolina held Virginia Tech out of the end zone. They got a whole bunch of field goals. You had the big touchdown pass to Nick Harbor, and so Shane Beamer, he puts on the leatherhead helmet there in Atlanta, beating the team that his father, of course, his Hall of Fame father, Frank Beamer, coached for so many years. It was a unique, emotional game for him. And you see the game-changing performances from Sellers, Harbor, and Stewart in that 24-11 win.
Well, we've had a chance to talk Sellers, and we've had a chance to talk Stewart. I'm sure Nick Harbor will play a role in today's game as well.
So second offensive possession for South Carolina State. Billy Atkins, who made his 4th start of his career today, On 2nd and 10, they keep it on the ground. This is Adams. Short gain, so it'll be 3rd and long.
Yeah, that's where they want to keep people in that 3rd and long situation so then they can get after it. You know, when you have a guy on the edge like Dylan Stewart, Brian Thomas on the other end, but also they think their interior guys can get after you. And don't sleep on Fred Johnson. With his speed, I think they'll use him in some situations as well in the rush game.
Johnson, middle linebacker, wears number 0 in the garnet. There he is, crowding the line. Line to gain is the 47. Atkins sling it to the sideline. That pass is caught. DeAndre Ruffin, the top returning receiver from a year ago, picks up the 1st down.
Really nice job by this offensive line of picking up everything in front of them. Look at that old line, just passing it along and giving Atkins all the time he needs.
It's the 2nd, 3rd and long that Atkins has converted through the air. So a good start for the veteran 5th-year senior in the spotlight for the first time in his career. Dump it down to the flat. Short gain, and Jordan Smith takes it forward for a handful. Dylan Stewart brought him down. So we'll be 2nd and 4.
Yeah, Bakari Swain 4 came flying in and missed him. But the rest of those guys, that's what they preach, getting to the football fast and in a hurry. That's a confident South Carolina State early on.
From the neighbors from about 45 minutes down the interstate from Orangeburg. On the ground, Adams cut it out. Tried to break it back inside, but then he was slammed. DQ Smith led the way on the tackle. It's a short gain, so it's 3rd and 1. Make it 3rd and 3, pardon.
Yeah, DQ Smith, the guy you'll see a lot of. And you can see 4 NFL Hall of Famers over the course of their time. Orangeburg, South Carolina, like you said, in between here and Charleston.
Two of 3 on 3rd down. They'd like to convert again. Atkins looks confident to start, facing some pressure now. Pocket collapsing. Stewart got to him. It's 4th down.
When you have a rusher like that and your tackles are trying to hold, it's awful hard with a guy like Stewart. Stewart is just one of those guys that just can really make a play. You see there, he's going to come off the edge, standing up. Watch the hands. Violent hands and then the finish. That's what they want. He doesn't even he barely hits him. That's that strength that they talked about.
Game-changing edge rusher, sophomore from D.C.
Yeah, get off, violent hands, and finish. That's what they want to do with him every single time.
It's impressive. Just how big of a step forward will he take this year? Sky-high upside. There's a flag down. And it should be a delay of game.
Delay of game on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Well, the other thing we were talking about in the open before, he had went and worked with Jadeveon Clowney for a couple of days. He had a friend that said, hey, who should I go work with? Hey, man, Jadeveon Clowney, right?
That's a good place to start.
Played at South Carolina, right? Yeah. He said so. He worked with them, and I think that really gave him even more confidence. Last year, a lot of teams came after him, double-teamed him. This year, I think he's doing a much better job with strength. You can see it even in the Virginia Tech game. He gets upset when somebody tries to come after him. He does a much better job of keeping contained.
It was a quality punt from Janish first time out there, and this one he forces Swain to the sideline. So South Carolina will have it at the 10-yard line. 6:27 to go in the first of the home opener at Williams-Brice Stadium.
To come in here and cheer them up before the game, but we support each other so much around here. The atmosphere, the camaraderie, it breeds winning.
Yeah, that camaraderie that you just mentioned, I mean, how special is that to South Carolina?
It is what makes us, this is a separator for us. The people of South Carolina really make you feel special, no matter where you are, no matter who you are. I just happen to be the lucky person that coaches the women's basketball team, but they love it. They will cheer on the winner of a palmetto bug race. That's how passionate they are.
I love that. And I know you and Coach Beamer are close. So how do your coaching styles compare?
Oh, he's much calmer than I am. Much, much calmer. But I think Coach Beamer's he's done for our state, for our athletics department, because he coaches his team. He's at our practice. He's at a women's soccer game. He's at a softball game. He's everywhere. And the fact that he's the example of that means that us other coaches got to get up off our butts and make it out to a baseball game, to make it out to an equestrian game, and that's what we do, and that's what we'll continue to do.
All right, 2 more questions for you. I know you're an Eagles fan. They got the win on Thursday. How you feeling about how they started the season?
You know we're feeling real good. The NFL trying to set us up, but the Eagles aren't going for that. QB1, MVP, Jalen Hurts.
You heard it here first. All right, and final question, Coach Staley. Obviously, the college basketball season not too far away. How are you feeling about this upcoming season with your group?
It's football season now. We're not going to think about basketball season yet. We're not ready, but we're working hard. Super proud of my team. They are ones that listen, and they really try to execute. It is hard to yell at them because they're super nice, and I do still yell, but I feel bad about it because they're so darn sweet.
Coach, I appreciate your time. I'm going to let you enjoy this game. I'm going to let you enjoy your Eagles, and we'll see you come basketball season.
Thank you. Go Cox.
Well, that's the question. Did Dawn lose her voice rooting on the Gamecocks here or her Eagles the other night?
I would say both.
Yeah.
I would say both.
So South Carolina, by the way, is going to have to punt it right back to the Bulldogs after another 3 and out. Sellers 0 for 3 through the air.
Trying to get it across the middle of the field. Couldn't complete it.
Dawn has just totally changed the trajectory of this program. 3-time national championship winning head coach. So that was really special stuff to hear her thoughts. So the Bulldogs will take over near midfield after a 57-yard punt. 5:37 to go in the first. Division II playoffs, and then it was a couple of years ago he got the opportunity to coach at the Division I level. His offense is back out there near midfield, their 3rd drive of the day, and Billy Atkins finds Jalen Johnson again for a gain of 7. Shannisberry, last year's coach of the year in the MEAC, Charles, his candor and enthusiasm, it is unmistakable.
I've had a chance to be around him during the course of his career. I've called the Bayou Classic a few times. He was involved there, but he's been a lot of places, and I was so happy when he got his head coaching opportunity at Benedict, and now you can see it at South Carolina State.
2nd and 3. The tailback is Mason Pickett Hicks. Just too much heat that time. And it was Demon Clowney who came in to stamp Atkins in the backfield, so it's a loss of 5.
Cousin of Jadavion Clowney, who we were talking about earlier with Dylan Stewart. This defense is, they've got some, they went shopping. I was telling Coach White, they didn't go to Costco. They went on laser focus to get certain guys out of the transfer portal. They did a really nice job of filling that up.
Got a couple of custom suits, custom built there. Atkins dropping back, heavy pressure, takes a big hit, and the pass is caught. Johnson deep down the field. There's a flag right where Atkins got stamped.
Yeah, that's going to be a roughing the passer.
Forcible contact above the shoulders of the defense number 30. That 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run, and it carries an automatic first down.
And this is a heck of a catch. I mean, good concentration and holding on to the football and not letting it go. Outstanding job. J.O. was on. Oh, man, but you have 2 guys in your face and still threw a strike, Billy Atkins.
Oh, you saw the helmet of Demon Clowney make contact that time with Atkins' face mask. That is a tough quarterback. And so I wonder here, yes, we just heard our head referee, Lee Hedrick. I think the announcement that he made was this could be a replay booth initiated targeting review.
That's exactly right. And the real key is those indicators, but also forcible contact to the head or neck area is one thing. And Kevin, I mean, quarterback has released the ball.
I think what's going to be scrutinized there, Charles, is that a leading with the crown of the helmet? And that certainly looks like that could fit the billing right there.
And I always say when you look at targeting, you have to look at the letter of the law. And I think that's what we're starting to see now. And coaches have taught their guys, hey, here's what we have to do. I mean, you still can be aggressive and you can make a play. The first order of this was the penalty for roughing the passer. And then on top of that, then you have the look at, is it targeting? But I still say what an outstanding catch by Jalen Johnson.
There was an excellent throw from Atkins. Yeah, even.
There is no foul for targeting. It's still first down.
So I gotta think the reason why there was no upgrade to targeting there is because if it's going to be the leading with the crown of the helmet, it's got to be that 6-inch radius right at the top of the helmet. It almost looked like more of the face mask is what got Atkins.
And what are the indicators too? So I mean, I think that's a good. Roughing the passer stays.
Yes.
But on top of all that was the concentration by Jalen Johnson to transfer out of Grambling. The one chance you have when you're playing a team in their home and their crowd is fired up is making big plays to quiet them.
Atkins has looked smooth. He's 5 of 7 through the air. The veteran from Baltimore, first year with the program. Handed off to Mason Pickett Hicks. That's the sophomore. First carries of his career was last week. They expect some big things from the young sophomore this year in their running back room.
Kevin, this offensive line is coming off the football. You know, I talk about guys, are they worried? Are they worried about this other team? They have come off and they have played with some enthusiasm.
They've got some big bodies on that offensive line. They really do. They got a number of new starters along the line. But South Carolina State, it's got size up front, maybe a little more so than the average FCS program. And the injured player that was down, Jaquel Holman, that's the freshman.
They were really looking forward to watching him play.
Yeah.
Just one of those, you got rolled up a little bit. Just one of those situations where you're, and this offensive line, that's the one thing that they talked about. If we can protect either quarterback that's playing, they felt like they could run the football. I said, okay, well, let's see it. And we've seen some of that so far tonight.
So South Carolina State, 2nd and 3. They're at the 10-yard line looking to find the end zone first. Pickett Hicks, patient run. That's going to be enough for the first down.
And one thing you have to do when you have such a delay is how you get your team or keep your team focused. It didn't look like South Carolina really came out with that same intensity that they normally do. And also after a big win, I'm not making excuses, but sometimes it's harder to win the next week or come out fast the next week after you had a hard physical game like they did 6 days ago.
It's Jordan Smith in motion on the ground again, straight ahead. Barely anything. Sean Murphy, that's the linebacker. That time stuffed Pickett Hicks. Some pushing and shoving along the line after that run. 2nd and goal from the 5.
If I'm a South Carolina State guy, if I played there, if I was involved with their program, I'd say, hey man, you got all the money in the world, but we're coming to play you. We're coming to come get some of that money. You know what I mean? So they're game tonight. And if you're South Carolina, you better figure out how to get yourself going or make a play so you stop these guys from thinking that way.
Johnson coming across to motion. Pickett Hicks right into the teeth of the defense. 3rd and goal again.
Kevin, look at the push. Generally, I see the red or the garnet jerseys should normally be in that backfield, but this offensive line, they are coming off, creating space for whoever's playing running back.
3rd and goal for South Carolina State.
Here's a key play for you. You want to get on the board. You want to show that you can beat a bigger team. South Carolina State's game.
There go the tight ends in motion. Atkins scanning. Atkins rolling out. Incomplete. Was facing a lot of pressure. Things started breaking down. It's 4th and goal. And so very quickly the field goal unit is coming on from the opposite side of the field.
Good job by the defensive coverage. Look at all those jerseys in the end zone. There's nowhere to throw the football. Atkins just has to evade, and then when he does, he's got pressure in his face.
This is the senior from Madrid, Nico Cavanillas-Alti, first year with the program. Pretty good debut a week ago in the win against Wofford. Hit 3 times. And this to give the Bulldogs the advantage. So the visiting MEAC champs strike first, and Chennis Berry with the fist bump there. His club is on the board with 1:32 to go in the first. So week 2 is very close to being in the books here on the SEC side. Let's look ahead to next week. Impressive lineup on the SEC network. It starts with South Alabama visiting Auburn. After that, UTEP faces Texas, who got in the win column today against San Jose State. You see Missouri and Mississippi State are also in action on SEC Network Plus. All right, so the Arch Madness continues, and you see Manning's Longhorns with the victory. Arch was 19 of 30 through the air. That is a big win, by the way. The top bullet for Missouri against Kansas. It was a good battle.
Missouri never gets the credit that they deserve, but Eli Drinkowitz he can coach, man. He can coach. And I'll say this is not on that headline, but that South Florida win in the swamp. Whoa.
Yeah, that was the eyebrow raiser from this weekend. Well, South Florida as a program continuing to turn a corner. Well, you just said it, holding Florida to 16 at home.
You got to be ready to play, man. I think now when you can have, like, Chennis Berry has 6 of his guys with him. He's now understood 14 of the players from Benedict have come, over 40 new players. They're trying to build a culture and a legacy. And you got South Carolina that wants to establish its dominance.
This is Nick Harbor. Harbor had that big 65-yard touchdown catch in the Week 1 win against Virginia Tech. An impressive return, however, there's a flag.
During the return, holding on the receiving team, number 4. That 10-yard penalty will be enforced from the spot of the foul. It's first down.
So 1:22 to go in the first. Third time we're going to see Lenoris Sellers. You know, we talked to you about his performance last week against Virginia Tech. It was not what he did during the game, but also what he did afterward. Ashley's got more on that.
Yeah, you know, Lenoris Sellers really kind of showed his character after that game, according to Coach Beamer. Following South Carolina's win over Virginia Tech in Week 1, Lenoris took the game ball and gave it to Shane's dad, Frank Beamer, a legendary coach for the Hokies. He said, I said, Lenoris, what made you do that? He said, you know what? I know what it means for Frank to get to watch his son coach. I know he's a legend. There's so much tradition there because of him at Virginia Tech. I've had a few conversations with him over the last few years. It was great to do that. We had a chance to ask Coach Beamer about it, and he said, I had no idea it even happened until I got on my phone after the game and saw it on social media. He said that's just an example of who Lenoris is. He's very unassuming and always wants to do stuff like that. And Shane's mom said, can you make sure you tell Lenoris thank you? It meant so much to us.
That was a really, really special gesture from a pretty special young man.
This offense just doesn't look crisp. And that was the one thing I would worry about if I'm a South Carolina.
That's going to be a false start in the O-line as well, Charles.
The pitch was not great on the previous play.
Infraction on the offense, number 50. That's a 5-yard penalty, and it remains second down.
That's on the center, Boaz Stanley. So South Carolina has been backed up in its own zone, all 3 of its drives, and they're having some more trouble here.
On the shift, everybody's moving. He's not ready to snap the football. Boaz has 11 siblings. He's in the middle. Got to play cleaner no matter who you're playing.
13 total yards for South Carolina. This is their third drive. They've got 30 penalty yards. That's not quite the balance you want. Mike Lunds makes the stop that time. So South Carolina faces a 3rd and long.
Yeah, Mike Lunds,
deep in the first quarter here.
He got in quickly and was able to stop everything. And this offense has just not played very well. It hasn't been clean.
Yeah, a bit of a ragged start, and so they're hoping that the quarter break can maybe jumpstart some things. They'll flip the field. So after one, it's the defending MEAC champs from right down the road.
We're excited about the opportunity. Our guys are ready to play. We're going to put them in a position to be successful, and they got to go out and make their plays. So I'm proud of their effort thus far in the first 15 minutes.
All right, Coach, thanks.
Thank you so much. Go Dogs.
Well, if you're South Carolina State, you could not have asked for a better start. They look pretty much unafraid, I would say. They're physical, Charles, on both sides of the ball. Another flag here.
Number 8. The penalty is half the distance to the goal, and it remains 3rd down.
That is the 5th penalty flag on South Carolina.
And that's when you practice all week, but have you practiced to the degree that you need to, it shows up on game day. And that's one thing they're going to have to recalibrate, because they have not looked crisp or in rhythm on offense today. 2
3-and-outs. All 3 drives. Lenora Sellers has been dropping back in his own end zone.
And they gave up a safety last week.
And he just gets out of the end zone. It's a loss on the play, sets up 4th down. And so the South Carolina State defensive pressure has been on display. It's going to be a 3rd punt here. And Shane Beamer shaking his head, disappointed.
Sean Brown is in position to come off that edge, and you're going to see him show up. He gets knocked around, but then when Lenore Sellers is flushed outside, he's right there. And that pressure from the outside or the inside forces Lenore Sellers to get out of there. He had a safety last week. He didn't want another one this week.
Charles, I suppose I'll bring it up. We were supposed to kick off at 7. At about 5:30, hour and a half before kickoff. That was our first lightning delay. The teams had to go back to the locker rooms. The rain came at 6:30. So we wind up getting started about 2.5 hours late. How much is that factoring in?
Well, South Carolina State will say it doesn't factor in, but it clearly is factoring in for South Carolina. They have not looked crisp at all. And now what you're seeing is a South Carolina State team that says, look, if you're going to give us this opportunity, we're going to take it. I will say this again. Chennis Berry has won wherever he's been, and he's been on a lot of great staffs. The one thing he has is a good staff, and he's got some players that feel like, hey, I can play against these guys. Just give me the ball and let me show you.
Billy Atkins is 5 of 8 through the air. He's had some nice touch on his passes early on. Oh, and his tailback gets leveled in the backfield. Stewart drills Pickett Hicks. There was a little confusion there on the handoff of the exchange. Loss of 5.
You talk about coming off the edge right through here. And that guy is just, oh my goodness, didn't get blocked, just unabated. That'll get you fired up. 6 on 6. Not fair.
Pickett Hicks just got railroaded that time. So it's 2nd and 15. And it's going to be an empty backfield now for Atkins. 5 on the play clock. Low snap. Atkins, maybe a designed run. Gets back around the original line of scrimmage. So pickup of about 6. Sets up 3rd and long.
You know, Billy Atkins played in that JMU program also that did a lot over the last few years. All of those guys that tended to go to Indiana, he came to South Carolina State when things changed, but he is really showing something tonight.
In the spotlight for the first time in his career as a starter. Line to gain is the 44. Atkins lets it rip. Pass caught. Looks like it's Johnson again. The ball might be free. South Carolina side is saying they recovered it.
Johnson was fighting for the first down. Did a nice job of catching.
The runner was down. It's 4th down.
So Johnson was short of the line to gain. They're going to say he was down before the ball came out.
Ooh, I don't know.
Or is it?
He lost the ball, but was he down? Oh, no.
Boy, there is not a body part down, and not a knee, not an elbow.
The previous play is under video review.
Yeah, this might go against South Carolina State.
South Carolina might be getting its first break of the evening.
Well, and I also think they're getting a handful from Shane Beamer. He is not happy, and sometimes you got to ratchet it up with your team.
His interactions with his players, they're always lively. Tonight, they're pretty animated.
Well, Don Staley said he wasn't real animated all the time, but he can be.
Not now.
Did his elbow go down before? It didn't look like it. It's hard. I don't see a knee down.
And I didn't see Johnson's leg out of bounds, so yeah, I think that ball is out before a leg hits the ground. Now, watch the player who recovers it. Who is going to touch this football first?
It came from the inside, it looks like. But look at the hustle by those South Carolina defenders. I mean, they were like sharks in water for that football. And that's what I'm trying to say. It was his. No, it doesn't look like anything. Is his elbow?
Left.
His hand is down, but his elbow, did it touch?
Left elbow. I think that's out before the elbow is down, right?
They're taking a long look at this, but the hustle. Look at 4 guys attacking the football. And Shane Beamer right there in the play. I mean, he's like coaching right on the sideline. He can see it. Because these are the kind of things you need sometimes when your team hadn't played to the degree that you want them to play. Great effort by Jalen Johnson, but you have to have ball security. And looking to see also if number 4 was out of bounds when he was touching the ball. That's Vicari Swain.
Yeah, that's the other critical component here to this sequence.
And it looks like he's out of bounds, but did he get to the ball before the other guys got there? To Vicari Swain.
Boy, there were a number of elements on that play that are very, very close. First off, just the fumble and the recovery. Who is recovering it is now going to be the most important factor.
It was a fumble. However, the defender from South Carolina was out of bounds when he touched the ball. Therefore, it is a forward fumble out of bounds. The ball will be returned to the spot of the fumble. It will be South Carolina State ball at the 46-yard line.
Wow, how close was that?
They dodged a major bullet. And hey, you're taught, Vicari Swain, you're taught to go get the ball. You don't care where you are, but right there, it hurts them because he has all those other people, because the ball's just sitting there. Wow.
So it's still a 4th down nonetheless, and South Carolina State is going to punt it away. So the real drawback for South Carolina is it's could potentially lose out on some field position here. So close. This is Janish, and it is Swain. Signals for the fair catch. And it will be 1st and 10 at the 20 for South Carolina when we return. Boy, the Gamecocks offense trying to get a little jolt. The SEC Network. Home opener, Williams-Brice Stadium for these 10th ranked Gamecocks. First quarter, it was a little ragged. 3-0 lead for the defending MEAC champs. Razul Faison is the tailback for this series for the Gamecocks. And so, Charles, you can see what South Carolina has done its first 3 offensive possessions.
That play right there gives you more yards than you've made so far in that first quarter. 3 and outs don't help you. And it doesn't give your defense a chance to get what they need to do. Offensively, what did I say in the break? run the football, establish that again.
So back on the ground, or rather Sellers pulls it this time, darts it over the middle, and it's Donovan Murph, the freshman, who makes the catch.
RPO, getting outside, giving them a chance, and that's what you want to do. Lenore Sellers really does a nice job moving and throwing the football. Now you're getting that rhythm that we talked about.
First down for South Carolina comes at the 11-minute mark of the second. Here's going to be the reverse. Harbor, is he getting a lead block from his quarterback? This is Nick Harbor, turns the corner for a gain of 13.
I have never seen a guy that big except for Usain Bolt, and I'm not trying to put him in that category, but when you run a 100 meters on the football field, it looks like you're going even faster.
Nick Harbor, the dynamic, athletic, 6'5" wideout.
They're going to get him in space. They want to make sure they get him the football any kind of way they can.
Sellers rolling the pocket, trying to evade the pressure. South Carolina State was trying to run him down. Sellers was tight roping the sideline, and his throw was incomplete.
One thing Sellers will do is keep his eyes down the field, and then when he decides to run, he will run. In that particular play, he was running out of real estate and had to get rid of the football. The pressure coming from the inside, Dunham on him. He throws the ball late, but it's Harbor is out of bounds. Harbor sometimes struggles with catching the ball cleanly, but he's getting better. That's one of the things he wants to continue to work on.
Former All-American track star left the team to focus entirely on football. Sellers, little antsy in the pocket, taken off, finds the corner, and he's got enough for the first down. Ushered out of bounds that time by Jabin Ford. Move the sticks.
Well, he's going to go through his read progression. Look, he starts over there, comes in the middle, doesn't see anything, and then this is where he says, okay, I got to go. And he gets going. And he's such a good athlete when he gets an open field. And sometimes it looks like he's antsy, but he's really working to get his feet to go where he wants to throw the football.
Sellers has largely tonight has not had many clean pockets either.
He had a problem with that last week. And now with the clean pocket,
well,
that's
there's
what you
one.
can do.
Yep. Finds his man over the middle. That's Vandrevius Jacobs. Jacobs very close to the first down before Shamari Reed knocked him down. Gain of 9.
That time, like, it was clean. Everything was right there for him. He could just pick where he wanted to go. You got a crossing route. You get it in to one of your other Jacobs' hands and let him do some work with it.
Wasn't targeted in the win last week, so that's his first catch of the season. Back on the ground. Faison was patient, waited for the hole to open up. That's another first down.
And again, what are they doing? Committing to the run to set everything else up.
Faison, 1,000-yard runner a year ago at Utah State. Earned that extra year of eligibility. Was a long wait and a long process before the NCAA finally granted the waiver. So he's back for one more year. Sellers trying to heave it. And that's out of bounds. Mike Lunds, that's the second time that the big edge rusher has gotten to Sellers.
There's nobody to block him on the outside. He comes clean. He's going to come off the edge and just, there's nobody to block him. And Sellers doesn't even have a chance to get in position.
Sellers just 2 of 7 through the air to start. 2nd and 10, line to gain is the 15. That's Mazio Bennett in motion. Sellers wings it, a little too tall.
Pressure again. This South Carolina State defensive front is doing a nice job of getting after the quarterback. You can see there, just doesn't have the time, and that's probably one of those where he wants to just take a little off of it. But he's got pressure coming at him and has to get rid of it. Kevon Chisholm, number 7.
Couple of first downs on this drive for the Gamecocks. They have yet to convert a 3rd down, and there's just nothing there on the short side of the field for Sellers. So it's 4th down, and they're going to spot it around the 25-yard line. William Joyce last week connected on the lone field goal that he attempted in that Virginia Tech win. And so he will be out there for a 45-yarder. So Joyce, the redshirt senior from Spartanburg, program veteran, finally earns the opportunity to take over as the starting place kicker. So this to tie the score midway through the second. This one is a little wide. No good.
You can see it on his face. And you got to be happy if you're Chennis Berry.
And so the Bulldogs will hold their 3-0 lead. It's been a little frustrating first half for the 10th ranked Gamecock. Charles, Jalen Johnson has been Atkins' favorite target. He's made a couple of fine catches in the first half tonight.
He's really done a great job in this one here. The concentration on this was outstanding. Know he's going to get hit, but still comes up with the catch.
He's the senior, first-year Bulldog who has been excellent the first 2 weeks of the season. And so Tyler Smith, the ball carrier, for the first time tonight, minimal gain. So Johnson comes over from Grambling State. His offensive coordinator is the former standout quarterback at Grambling, Jonathan Williams. Second-year offensive coordinator. He came with Chennis Berry and much of the Benedict staff after their great success at the Division II Power here in Columbia. So the Bulldogs right now, they've got the upper hand. They're moving the ball well on offense and converted a field goal on their last drive. So this will set up 3rd and short after a gain of 5.
Kevin, they've really done a nice job on the interior runs. I mean, it's surprising because in watching South Carolina last week against Virginia Tech, they did such a nice job there. But this team has just attacked them in the interior. And then when they needed a first down, they found Jalen Johnson at the receiver position.
Line to gain is a 37. Shotgun snap, Atkins. Here comes the heat. Atkins taken down. Big loss, and it's Brian Thomas who stamped him in the backfield.
Hey, Brian said, don't forget about me. I'm the other guy on that other side that I'll make a play for you as well. He wasn't worried about that. He just comes in and gets after the quarterback. But the biggest thing is look how quick they get there. I mean, he gets around the edge and is able to get there. And on the other side, you have pressure as well from Troy Pikes.
You're right, Pikes was there on the pressure as well. So you wonder if that flips momentum a little bit for South Carolina. Janish to punt it away. You've got the dangerous Swain. And will he get some space here to return it? Swain spins away from one. Reversing field. He's got a lot of blockers on this side. The dangerous return man took one to the house last week. Swain does it again. "64 yards to the house to put the Gamecocks on the board."
When you need a big play, if you kick it to that side and you don't keep him there, look at this wall of Garnett going over there. When you have that train and you know this guy can take it to the house, we did one last week. We're going to get you one better. Look at the blocking out front. Outstanding job on the return team, and that's where you get your momentum. Look at this block here. Annihilating the punter and then getting still other guys getting there. Look at another good block there. Outstanding job to get him home.
Goodness, Janish got leveled on that block.
Wow.
And so how about Vakari Swain? He's the redshirt sophomore from Carrollton, Georgia. So going into the season, the whole plan was Jalen Kilgore is going to be our punt returner. Had a sore hamstring last week, so it's Swain who gets the opportunities, takes one to the house, and Shane Beam opener for the 10th ranked Gamecocks, and they're on the board after Vakari Swain's 65-yard punt return touchdown. Sound familiar? Did it last week against Virginia Tech. This one 80 yards to the house, Charles.
Well, and when you have guys that are out there that are looking to make blocks and help you, That's the thing you want to, that's what you want to have. You want to have your starters and guys that you know are excited about doing it. And then look here, 1, 2, you got two guys there that are coming. Eric Rice with the big block, and then Goodwine with another one. Those are outstanding plays. Goodwine is your starting defensive tackle.
Yeah, that's a great point, partner. There is a pride for these South Carolina players to excel on that special team side. Billy Atkins over the middle. His first pass is deflected a couple of times there and incomplete. There's a flag on the near side of the field.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Ineligible player downfield on the offense number 73. That penalty is declined. Holding on the offense number 55. That penalty will be enforced 10 yards from the previous spot with a replay of first down.
That's the freshman Marsh.
Correction, the ineligible player was number 77, 7-7.
So 1st and 20.
And Kevin, I'm going to give credit where it's due. It was Maurice Mo Brown, 44. They have 2 44s. I'm looking at the size. It was definitely Brown down there blocking on that. But still, you've got guys that just want to pay dividends for Swain.
It's Beamer ball, Shane Beamer's specialty. Tyler Smith takes the handoff this time. Senior from Gaffney, South Carolina, gain of 2. 2nd and long.
And I should know that because as a tight end, I'm going to be on the punt team or the punt return team. But they do have starters that are out there. You know, we talked about J.O. being there and a DQ, because you have to have your fast guys that want to play a role in helping Swain. You saw that wall. It was they knew right away where he was going.
Atkins on 2nd and long. Here comes the pressure. Floats it deep down the field. And it's too far for Ruffin. He took another shot in the pocket that time. And so now there is starting to be some consistent pressure in the backfield from South Carolina.
Well, and also when you have 3rd and long, you have to throw the football, but that gives the defensive line a chance to get after you. And they've had this 2-quarterback system. We haven't seen Stubblefield tonight, but we have seen Billy Atkins.
Atkins 6 of 10 through the air. Check it down. Pass is caught. That was his running back, Tyler Smith. Short gain. It's going to be 4th and a mile. And so the Bulldogs will send it back to the Gamecocks.
Yeah, Miles Norwood with a nice tackle in open field.
So if you're Chennis Berry's team, I think you're punting this one out of bounds, no?
Well, if you're going to punt to that side,
yeah,
you got to make sure you get there. And you only had one guy to stop him. So this worries you because they had the perfect call and a guy that can just make things happen. I agree with you. Kick it out of bounds. Don't give him another chance.
Boy, what a start to Swain's punt returning career. That one was partially blocked. So South Carolina blocks the kick. Swain, by the way, picks it up. The play is alive. Swain coming this way again. Is he going to do it?
Yes.
Swain! Touchdown!
The major mistake by them is not getting after the football. And you're so worried about punting to him that you don't pay attention to what happens when they're coming after you.
Vakari Swain does it again in a little unconventional fashion this time after the punt was blocked.
He said, Coach, I'll be your best offense. Just let me return it.
All right, so you want to hear the result of Vakari Swain's last 3 punt returns, okay? Going back to last week.
They're all 3 touchdowns.
Touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. So that ties a South Carolina record. I'm amazed that there was somebody else in program history that had also returned 3 consecutive punts for TDs, and so he becomes.
What I didn't understand, okay, so Boosie is going to come close to getting it, 13, right? You see that. But when this ball is down and it's already tipped, go attack it. I know they want to let it go, but don't let it get to 4. Look, you have to hustle to get the ball. And then you try to tackle him, and you have 5 guys there. Oh, he knows where my wall is, and I go to it, and I make sure I get to the house again.
Boy, you credit Swain for the awareness that time. That's a missed opportunity by South Carolina State to allow that to happen. So that was David Busey, who partially blocked a kick.
But the hustle and the forethought of Swain, he kind of played it off, right? He did a good job of acting like, no, I'm not bothering it. And then as soon as he saw, he went in there and got the football. And if you're South Carolina State, you cannot let that happen. You can't let it happen. You better not kick to him the rest of the night.
Yeah. By the way, let me correct myself. So he ties the single season South Carolina record for punt return touchdowns. We played a game and a half, and he's already tied the single season record. Boy, it is sky high upside this year for Swain.
He made SEC player, special teams player of the week. He's going to do that probably again this week, because I don't know if anybody is going to return 2 punts for touchdowns.
You're saying Vegas isn't taking bets on that one?
They can take all they want. I'm giving it to him.
He's the favorite.
I'm bequeathing that to him right now. Oh, my goodness. Well, your team isn't playing well. And Shane Beamer grew up around his dad, and when they didn't play well, their defense did something. Tip, punt, return for a touchdown. And then the other one was just great special teams play.
So the momentum is really flipped. The tailback for South Carolina State is KZ Adams again. Gain of 3 on the first down carry.
Yeah, and now it gives your defense a chance to do what they kind of know of what they've been thinking about doing all night, and that's getting after the quarterback. Making sure you stop the run and then attacking whenever they throw the football.
Adkins rolls the pocket, zips it. Johnson got his feet down, and the pass is caught. So it'll set up 3rd and short after a short gain of 5 on the play. Leach on the coverage.
I'm impressed with Jalen Johnson. He has no fear. You can see it in his eye. He's ready. He's ready to go.
So 2-minute timeout would be coming up here. South Carolina State does not have to run a play. 3rd and 2. Two-minute timeout in Columbia. The Vakari Swain show is what this one has turned into. He's now returned 3 consecutive punts for touchdowns. 2 tonight, 14-3 Gamecocks edge. It's over on the SEC Network and the all-new ESPN app. There'll be a couple of Vakari Swain highlights.
I would tend to think so.
I think so. Casey Fields, the I-back, takes the carry on 3rd and 2. Did they stop him? That's going to set up 4th down. South Carolina stuffs him at the line. He just ran right into a wall, and a timeout taken by South Carolina. 1:54 to go in this opening half. So it was kind of a bumpy start for the Gamecocks. Scoreless first quarter. Their first 3 drives were punt, 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 3 3-and-outs. And after about a quarter and a half, you had the Bulldogs there with a lot of momentum until everything flipped.
Makes one guy miss, makes another one miss, and then he knows where to go. His wall. You can see DQ Smith, #1, leading the charge, but he also has some other guys. Eric, it is so good when you see guys hustle and make plays. Now this one, watch how he kind of plays it off. Okay, y'all like, okay, it's mine, and makes another guy miss. And then again, that wall we talked about, getting outside, allowing him to get down the field. Eric Rice and Maurice Brown on that one play and then all those other guys on the other play.
And so in the shocking move, Shane Beamer's going to send Brian Rowe back there to return this one. That's the freshman from Concord, North Carolina. So Janish does get it away cleanly. 1st and 10 from the 25 for the 10th ranked Gamecocks.
When you put good things on film, everybody kind of knows it, but you can see this team really knows what they have to do. And what did we talk about with Shane Beamer yesterday? I coach special teams. I coach it pretty hard. So he has to be excited about what his team is doing from a special team.
That's what he says. He says, it's my baby.
Yeah, it's
it has been for a long, long time. You see it, by the way. So Vakari Swain has scored 18 points. The rest of the team has scored 20.
Wow.
It's a tight race right now. You know, the last SEC player with a pair of punt return touchdowns in a game was 9 years ago. So it's been a while. Lenoris Sellers, 1st and 10 from the 25, rips it downfield. Caught! Beautiful catch on the sideline. It was Donovan Murph, who's made a couple of receptions today. That's a gain of 27. Nice ball there.
Freshman out of Irmo High School. One of the best throws that I think Sellers has made tonight. Really good throw, and Murph with the catch in the 2-minute drill.
That's the freshman from Irmo, so maybe 20 minutes down the road. Sellers lofts it. Mazio Bennett, that's his first catch of the season. Twists edge, should get the first. Pretty close. And we'll be second and very short. So remember, we will have the bands coming up here. South Carolina's band will perform at halftime. 2nd and short. Sellers stepping up. He can run. And here's his mobility. That should be enough for the first down.
And Kevin, you always kind of have a spy for Lenoris Sellers, and that was 10, Jordan Franklin. But he got outflanked. Sellers didn't see anyone, and right away he gets out of bounds, stops the clock, tries to keep this drive moving.
The all-conference dynamic stud. On the ground to Oscar Attaway.
They didn't get it.
Nothing there.
Oh.
Yeah, this is now 4th and 1. Clock winding.
They have struggled at certain times running the football against this front.
Now South Carolina's bringing in the big package here. Michael Smith, Mo Brown, Jordan Dingle. Just substituted out onto the field. 50 seconds to go, 4th and 1. Big bodies in there to block for Attaway. Instead, they get the first.
Yeah, give it to Lenoris. But you bring all the tight ends to show like you're going to do something and let Lenoris just pick a hole and go. Find an A gap and get between it and make it happen.
Second charge timeout of the half, and there will be a 30-second timeout.
So South Carolina takes its second timeout. 38 seconds to go. Ball is at the 37-yard line. Will be 1st and 10. And so we saw probably Sellers' best pass of the evening just a few moments ago to Murph on this drive. So we got off to that so-so start. He's 4 of 10 through the air for 57.
Those first 3 drives were 3 and out, right? No yards. They weren't really able to go. And then I think the momentum started to shift when Swain had that first punt return. And then the second one, these aren't the numbers that he wants to have, but I know he's working on it and he's looked a lot better these last few completions.
That's Bennett in motion. 1st and 10 snap. Sellers lets it fly. Bennett reels it in. Tackled very quickly, and forward progress will mark him down at the 33. Clock is ticking, 22 seconds.
Yeah, they got to go fast, and you have your time, one timeout.
They do have one. 15 seconds. Sellers Got to throw it out of bounds. So that stops the clock with 8 seconds. And so, you know, right now, line of scrimmage is the 33. William Joyce, remember, he's a first-year starting place kicker. So his career high, or career long, I should say, is 27 yards. That's last week. So you want to try to get some yardage here.
Yeah, they said they felt comfortable with about at the 35-yard line, but that first kick didn't go as smoothly as they wanted. And I think you want to get all the yards. They wasted quite a bit of time on that last play. Took a lot longer for them to get set.
Sellers quickly to the outside. That's Attaway. They pick up a couple out of bounds at the 31. And so if they send Joyce out here, it'll be about a 48-yarder.
And I thought they were going to use that timeout or clock it because they had enough time, but this is getting him closer.
So remember, Charles, he missed from 45 earlier. So this is officially going to be a 49-yarder from the right hash. South Carolina State, or rather South Carolina.
It's their first charge timeout of the half, and it'll be a 30-second.
And no, it is the Bulldogs that used their first timeout. Try to ice them with 3 seconds to go. Shane Beamer's South Carolina Gamecocks. They were down 3-zip about halfway through the second quarter. Then the consecutive punt return touchdowns for Vakari Swain to try to add 3 more here before the break. I mean, what's going to be perhaps the biggest area of concerns for you after 30 minutes here?
Well, I mean, I think you're seeing you got to run the football better. You have to protect your quarterback better. And on this drive, it looked a lot smoother. I think they had a chance now to say, okay, let's settle down, let's play better. And you want to make sure you make this because you need to keep adding points.
So Joyce from 49. Looks like this one is long enough, and he nails it. So South Carolina gets 3 at the horn, takes a 2-touchdown lead into the break. Shennis Berry's Bulldogs. They have come for a fight today. Gamecocks will get it when we start this second half. So it's 17 unanswered for the 10th ranked Gamecocks.
However you win, I don't care if it's ugly, you find a way. And Swain has helped that ugliness.
Nico Cavanilis-Alti to kick it away. South Carolina up 2 scores. And that one does bounce out of bounds, so we'll see the flag. South Carolina will take over at the 35.
Free kick out of bounds on the kicking team. The ball will be placed at the 35-yard line where it will be first down.
And the Gamecocks needed it. You can see South Carolina State held their in-state foes to just 108 total yards. That's all, and most of those yards coming on their final 2 drives of the half.
Yeah, 0 for 3 on third downs. They just didn't play clean to start the game. I mean, 0 for 6, excuse me. They didn't play real clean, and the special teams unit really did a nice job of keeping them in that game.
So Lenora Sellers, who was 6 of 13 through the air in that first half, pitches it out to Razul Faison. His first touch here in this second half, short gain. That's Josh Barker, who comes in leading the way, in addition to Charles Arnold.
Yeah, Charles Arnold out of Coastal Carolina, one of those transfers.
Faison trying to break through. And picks up 6. So 3rd and short.
I think in this half you have a healthy dose of Faison, Attaway, whoever's playing that running back position, and really just establish a dominance, especially after getting such a big lead. But we got to give a lot of credit to the South Carolina State defense also. They old school pursuit, they drive sleds, they attack the ball, and you can see it tonight.
Sellers with a lot of time, lofts it over the middle. That pass is caught. Michael Smith has got his first catch of the season. That's the sophomore from Savannah, Georgia.
Yeah, Michael Smith going to set right over the middle, turn around. Brendan Scott comes in, and let's hope he's okay.
The athletic training staff very quick to get to Brennan Scott.
Senior out of Florida, transferred from Temple.
So we'll take a timeout early in the third. Brennan Scott was the injured defensive back on the field for South Carolina State. 60-year senior from Ruskin, Florida. Second year with the program, and you saw just the crunch here as he came in to try to make the tackle on Michael Smith. Hit the ground very hard. Athletic training staff came over immediately to help him out, and he was able to walk off on his own power. Sellers airing it out into the end zone, and a flag. Looking for Nick Harbor.
To Mario Bookhart on the coverage.
Interference on the defense, number 20. That penalty will be enforced 15 yards from the previous spot, and it carries an automatic first down.
Your heart rate has to go high when you got 8 on you, and he has no chance, doesn't turn around, so it's an easy call for the officials. When you have that much speed, a defensive back knows if he gets on top, and Harbor is able to do it almost effortlessly. Guy that size, just the ability to get up top.
Just that rare combination of just elite size and speed. He was a former 5-star defensive end in high school. Oscar Attaway kept his feet to pick up a couple of more, gain of 5.
I can't imagine many tackles in his high school league wanting to face him on the edge.
He was the former All-American sprinter, spent the first couple of years at South Carolina doing both, walked away from the track and field squad this spring to focus entirely on football. Attaway was trying to turn the corner, and he swarmed and smothered after a gain of 3. Franklin led the way for the stop.
Well, we talked about the defense losing some guys, but on the offensive side, it was the wide receiver position. And, you know, when you think about South Carolina, you always think of some big receivers, Alshon Jeffries, Debo Samuel. I mean, you can just go back and name a bunch of names of guys that were Xavier Legette.
Yep.
And then you have Nick Harbor, who's not only big, but has all that speed.
Sellers keeps. Sellers puts the accelerator on and then tripped up after a 16-yard gain. Gerard Washington somehow tripped him up.
Well, and his receivers do a really nice job of blocking downfield. Great fake by Sellers, but look at the blocking there and down the field. And Donovan Murph trying to hold the block, but very good tackle in open field on a big guy that can run the football.
Sellers keeping it again. Stiff arm. He's dragging a man with him. Tyler Jones slung him out of bounds. And so a gain of 1. That's it. So it will be second and goal from the 6.
I don't know if you realize how fast he gets up on you. Tyler Jones is trying to come. He gave him that jackhammer stiff arm, and Jones is saying, hey, man, was that not a face mask?
South Carolina looking for its first offensive touchdown. This is Attaway. Breaks through. Oscar Attaway scores a touchdown. From 5 yards out. Shed 1 and trampled in.
Well, that offensive line just really established right there, especially on the inside. Boaz Stanley, Shed Surratt, Trovon Ball. Look on the inside. Look at that wall right there. Gives the running back a nice chance. Attaway, he gets behind that guard center area and just attacks it. Gets a touchdown.
Mike Shula, the offensive coordinator, second year with the program, first season as the OC. You know, he was complimentary of Attaway in the spring, in preseason camp. He was physical last week. He was physical on that run. South Carolina's first offensive TD of the day.
You got a guy coming downhill. You got to stop him, but if you don't, Attaway in for 6.
Sellers, you see his numbers. 7 of 14 through the air. On the ground that drive, he was effective. So he is South Carolina's leading rusher, just 27 yards tonight. That's all. It was Oscar Attaway who scored that TD from 5 yards out to complete the scoring drive.
Well, and that's the one thing you like with that first win. But I talked about it. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. 6 days is a little bit different. You've got to be as efficient as you can in getting prepared. And now the offense didn't play as well as they wanted to. But think about next week, what you have with Vandy, who really took out Virginia Tech, and that's going to be a big game next week for both of those teams.
That is South Carolina's SEC opener, and you're right, look out. You got a 2-0 Vanderbilt squad that just scored 44 against Virginia Tech. So the first down carry is KZ Adams, who was able to squeeze through a hole to pick up a decent game before Monkel Goodwine.
Well, the defense tightened up also, too. That was the other thing. Early on, it looked like South Carolina State was getting some momentum. We haven't seen Jalen Johnson, but they've really corrected some of the things that were happening earlier in this ball game.
Atkins started 5 of 7 through the air. He's 8 of 12 now. Atkins flushed, zips it, and that pass is caught in stride. Jordan Smith reels it in on the run. First down.
I like how Atkins throws on the run. He has really done a good job when you watch him on tape, but tonight he's been so effective. Look at him get those shoulders squared, get the ball out. And this is a thing that if you're South Carolina, you got to make sure that you clean this up going into next week, because the Vanderbilt team is going to be a little bit different. They want to have explosives. You got to make sure you don't give them those opportunities.
Just the 4th career start of Atkins' career. Low snap, handles it, and he's going to pull it away wisely. Atkins looking for a block. Picks up a handful on the first down run before Dylan Stewart knocked him out of bounds.
Great ball skills with Atkins right here. And this could be one of those things. They had talked about playing 2 quarterbacks. We've seen him most of the way tonight. And this has given him some confidence as well.
Yeah, we have not seen Ryan Stubblefield just yet. Last week they both played and played fairly evenly, I suppose. They took just about the same number of snaps and series as one another in their win against Wofford last week. Atkins was 17 out of 33 through the air. First-year Bulldog. He was a backup at JMU for a couple of years. James Madison, successful program. Gets it away quickly to the sideline. That one is caught right around where the first down marker is. Cyrus Ellison reels in his first catch.
He had 5 catches last week and said he put a lot of time in. It got him up, put some weight on him. He was more of a receiver guy when he first got here, but he really had 5 catches for 6 yards, 66 yards last week.
Clock winding, middle of the third. 3rd and 1. KZ Adams is the back. He's got it, trying to break it outside. South Carolina smothers him. It's a loss on the play. Demon Clowney gets into the backfield once again.
DQ Smith also. You have the ability to get after a guy. Demon Clowney coming off the edge here. And then you have this wall of people just making sure that he doesn't get in. Demon Clowney with the nice use of the hands. Look at that. 3 defenders all on that spot making a play.
They just beat the tight end that time. And so Chenisberry elects to punt it away. So Brian Rowe is going to get another opportunity to return this one. And we got a flag. Play clock.
Delay of game.
Yep, was winding.
On the offense, 5-yard penalty. It remains 4th down. Please reset the game clock to 7:50, 7:50.
Give yourself a chance, but and also the way this team has returned the ball, I'm kicking everything out of bounds.
There really is just a palpable anticipation now.
Kevin King, the special teams coach over at South Carolina State, has to be just like, goodness gracious, how did we let that happen twice?
Janish has not punted the ball poorly at all today, outside of getting 1 blocked. And that's fair caught. And Rowe stumbles but secures it. South Carolina with the ball up 24-3 when we return. A year ago, one of the bevy of SEC teams in the top 25. Now, that number 10 ranking for the Gamecocks after their win last week against Virginia Tech. First time in the AP top 10 in more than a decade. And the expectations surrounding this program, the hype, the intrigue, hasn't been this high since Steve Spurrier was running the show. Remember those 3 straight 11-win seasons? They would have made made the playoff if there was a playoff back then.
Yeah, and you think about all the talented players that they had during that time. And I think when you look at this ball club, they are in a situation where they have a chance, and this is a game that they'll look back and say, hey, we have to clean some things up. And coaches can coach harder when you have played a game like this and you didn't give your best effort.
A lot of things are illuminated. Back on the ground again, the second down carry, and there's just nowhere to go. This has not been a great game on the ground.
And that's what I mean by best effort of running the football well, doing the little things well. They started off with a lot of penalties against their offense, which doesn't give you a chance to have positive momentum.
They're averaging about a little more than 3.5 yards a carry tonight. That's all. And the biggest run, a run of 16 for the phenom right there, Sellers. Well, look how elusive he is, but he's just got to step out of bounds. Everything was well defended down the field. Mike Lunds was applying the pressure. Again, we have mentioned his name several times today, and South Carolina is going to punt it away.
Yeah. Well, Lunds is right there. I mean, as soon as he comes, Sellers doesn't have a chance to even set. Lunds was on him so quick.
It's been a bit of a choppy game for the Gamecocks.
Yes, it's not what you want if you're Mike Shula and his offensive unit, but that's what you have. That's why you got the tape, and you'll go with this win if they stay ahead, which it looks like they will. But then you have to start looking at next week of what's happening, because you got Vanderbilt coming here.
It's going to be the SEC opener. You know, if you remember, Brenyon Scott, the defensive back for South Carolina State, he was helped off the field earlier in this half. Ashley Stroline's got more on his status. Ashley?
A number of time over here watching Brenyon. He was in and out of the injury tent. He made 2 trips to the injury tent, but he is back on the sideline with his teammates. No helmet on, but he is making his way up and down the sidelines, encouraging his teammates, getting some encouragement from his teammates as well after going through that very scary incident earlier. You can tell he definitely wants to be out there, but it doesn't look like he'll be playing the rest of this game.
It's good news, and it was good news when he was able to get off the field on his own power. There is a fumble. South Carolina's got it. Goodwine. Making Jaron Willis takes it to the house. It's a touchdown.
Stubblefield gets in the game and is able to hand the ball off, but it wasn't clean. Wow. Defensive touchdown, couple of special teams touchdowns. Complimentary football. When your offense isn't playing the way you want them to, your defense figures it out, and your special teams.
Boy, at its finest this evening. Jaron Willis picked up that bouncing football, the junior from Albany, Georgia. Third-year Gamecock. He spent a number of years here, and now the lead grows. First turnover of the evening.
Well, Stubblefield gets in the game, and it was a great job of knocking the ball out, but Jaron Willis is able to get that and take it back to the house. And look at him. He's going to celebrate. Brian Thomas Jr. looks like he was able to get a hand in there, 46.
Right on, it was Thomas who knocked it away. So there is Marquis Anderson, who's a little hobbled now after the extra point. But it is 3 defensive and special teams touchdowns tonight for South Carolina.
You know, I mean, Beamer ball, right?
Yep.
The Shane Beamer's version. Beamer ball 2.0. You know, his dad, if you thought about those Virginia Tech teams with Bud Foster and the lunch pail and all the different things, I think they've kind of emulated that here. They want to have that same feel. And that's what you have to have. When your offense isn't playing well, your defense steps in, your special team steps in, and they make plays. And that wasn't on Stubblefield. You know, he had just gotten in the game. I mean, Mason Pickett Hicks was the running back, and Brian Thomas just flew in there. I mean, that's what they expect out of him and Dylan Stewart, be disruptors.
This defense that has lost so many key players from a year ago, and you can see players that have stepped in here. So this is our all-new SEC Network Fall Football Weekday lineup. From Monday reactions to Friday previews, we have you covered throughout the season. Every show also available streaming on the all-new ESPN app.
Yeah, a couple of second-rounders you were referencing. They had a lot of guys on this defense that left, and I think that put this unit in a salty spot because they were like, hey, look, we're pretty good. They needed to show it. But in the first 2 weeks, they have done a really good job in totality of being effective, flying to the football, wrecking havoc, and doing a lot of things that you expect the South Carolina defense to do.
So second snap of the evening now for Ryan Stubblefield. Gets knocked down. And it was Desmond Zulu who shoved him straight down to the turf very quickly.
You just keep seeing different guys that can make plays. Zulu on the left side of your screen. I mean, he was there so quick. He thought the ball got off. I got a sack, but he didn't realize it because he thought the ball was gone. Long, athletic guy that can make plays at 6'6", 255 out of Upper Marlboro, Maryland.
So after a loss of 12, 2nd and 22, more pressure. That pass is caught. And we got a flag on the near side of the field. And Jordan Smith did make the catch.
Ineligible player downfield on the offense, number 77. That penalty is declined. It's 3rd down.
So Charles, here are the aforementioned Gamecocks. These are the 5 defensive players. Just 5 players from last year's defense alone were drafted, several in the 2nd round. All 5 of these, of course, on their active rosters to begin the NFL season.
Well, you talk about certain things about South Carolina when they're really good. It's defense, right? I love the Matt helmets tonight, too, but I think that's what you have, and you have these young guys that have played with those guys that you just saw that said, hey, I want to be a part of that, too.
Stubblefield on the run. Pass is bobbled and dropped. Johnson could not haul it in. So it is 4th and 15. And so the South Carolina pressure, it's getting to the backfield. They're starting to toy with Stubblefield.
Well, you know they're one-dimensional now. They're not really looking to run the football anymore. The last time they tried to run, turnover, and it just, once they start understanding, hey, we got these guys where we want them, they just keep attacking.
Please reset the game clock to 4:44. 4:44. Thank you.
No dinner plans tonight.
Yeah, it's Williams Bryce after dark here. Remember, this is Rowe who breaks away from one tackler and then finally slammed back down after a gain of 8. So we will see Lenora Sellers today. It's been an up and down game. 7 of 14 through the air. He's taken off a couple of times and showed his mobility, Charles, out of the pocket.
Been able to run the football, and then he got going with the pass game, which you expect to be even better than it was tonight. 7 of 14, he's not going to be happy with that. But I think the thing is, you look at how do you just keep battling. And that's what I like. I have always said this about Lenora Sellers. I love how he just attacks and doesn't quit.
Lets this one fly down the sideline and a little too far out of Nick Harbor's reach. Now, he was open, Charles, but they cannot hook up, that duo.
Yeah. Give him a little bit more air on that. The one thing they want to do is he wants to continue to be more accurate. And that's a chance right there. That's an easy throw and catch. You're working in a position where you have a sail route. Just give that receiver a little more air.
And we heard Mike Shula mention it this week. Just those areas of focus. It's the anticipation. It's the processing. Recognizing, to your point, where to float it. That time he completes a pass there to Vandrevius Jacobs. 3rd and medium.
Well, and as you watch him, you can see it happening. You know, but there's still going to be times where you say, and he knows that. And that's the beauty of it. I like when his body language, even when he feels like, okay, and he's smart enough to process that and say, okay, let's come back. And how am I going to attack that the next time? And that's all you can ask for out of a quarterback.
Sellers plants the feet, throws high, Rowe catches, but short. So it sets up 4th down. Let's go to Ashley for more on Lenoris.
Well, I had the chance to speak with Lenoris ahead of tonight's game, and I said, what was your biggest area of focus in the offseason? Sellers said he really locked in on his footwork. He said he feels like that's the key to being consistent that allows for overall success. He says if my footwork is right, the throws come easy, and it allows for more consistency. He also told me the game is really slowed down for him, and he understands the why of each play they're doing.
So he's got to get the footwork right here. Little pressure, 4th down. He completes the pass to Jacobs. 1st down.
Well, I love what Mike Shula does there. It makes it easy because he spreads them out and he knows right away where to throw the football quickly. And Ashley talked about footwork. Watch his feet. Get in position and throw. A little bit behind, but not by much. But he knows right away because he has a clean look. And that's all you can ask for as a quarterback on 4th down.
So Jacobs, by the way, with his 3rd catch, that leads all South Carolina receivers. Fake the handoff, flick it downfield. Look who's wide open for the touchdown. It's Jacobs.
I mean, he just went by the defensive back. And Lenora Sellers with a nice throw. Got the 1st down on 4th and 1, and then a huge strike. That's 2 weeks in a row where he's been able to attack the defense deep.
2nd career touchdown for Vandrevius Jacobs and his 1st in a South Carolina uniform. Gamecocks have just busted it open here in this 3rd quarter. And this their 3rd touchdown of the quarter. Oscar Attaway on the ground. Sellers to Jacobs. The defensive scoop and score. And it's a lopsided 38-3 lead.
In a much better pocket. Look at the protection here for Sellers. Nobody there. And you got a guy running straight down the field in Jacobs. Easy throw and catch. Puts the ball on the money. Jacobs secures it. Nice job. And he's really played well tonight.
4th catch for Vandrevius Jacobs. He leads the way, 57 yards through the air. That one, the 35-yard strike, the biggest pass play of this late evening battle. Remember, we were supposed to kick off at 7 o'clock. Nearly 2.5-hour weather delay. So we got started around 9:30. So this crowd, though, it has stuck around for much of it. Home opener for South Carolina.
I don't know about you, but it was tough for me to get in here. And then when we got here, oh my goodness.
It was a zoo.
Yeah.
Getting into this place today. Well, that signifies the excitement and the enthusiasm surrounding this program. So this is our SEC Network football slate next week. Auburn at home against South Alabama at 12:45 Eastern, and then later in the day, Arch Manning and the Longhorns. They're back home against UTEP. Louisiana and Missouri, and then Alcorn State, Mississippi State available on SEC Network Plus. South Carolina, you mentioned it, Charles. It opens up SEC play next week against Vanderbilt, team that just scored 44 against the Hokies earlier today in a win.
The good thing is you and I got to see Vanderbilt last week, and now this week South Carolina. So I'm looking forward to that matchup next week. Two teams that really feel like they're heading in the right direction with what they're doing.
It does feel like those are two programs that are breaking through in their own right. So Vanderbilt a year ago, the 7-win season. First winning season in more than a decade. South Carolina with the 9-win season. Their best year in more than a decade as well. So two programs that are on the up and up. That pass from Stubblefield, rifled and caught. So nice grab by Shamonte Burgess, his first catch of the evening. Minute and 30 left in this third quarter.
Good catch and being able to secure the catch.
Yeah, Burgess upended that time. The conversation surrounding the Gamecocks entering this season, the very hopeful faction of the fan base was thinking playoff or bust, especially on the heels of last year. But even despite some of the struggles earlier in today's game, it's still fair to say it does feel like at this point they very well are a contender to perhaps make the playoff. This is Stubblefield. Boy, he has got some great speed, taking off and cutting up field for a first down.
Well, I mean, look at the team across the state. I mean, they were struggling with Troy. You know, and I think sometimes that happens, man. When you have big games that you play one week and then you have to come back. I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying for, 18 to 23, 24-year-old guys, it's hard to keep their focus. And this allows you to take that tape and really coach your guys hard because you're going to have to be ready next week. You know Vandy's going to come in here ready to play, and you've got to show that next week as well.
Still early, it's early, Charles.
Oh, yeah.
It is early as teams continue to figure themselves out, find their ways. So this should take us to the end of the third quarter. South Carolina State, the MEAC champs from a year ago, they are driving. But it's the Gamecocks that score 21 in that quarter. A couple of offensive touchdowns and then the fumble recovery, scoop and score right here. There's Jaron Willis, Oscar Attaway.
Play. Coach Beamer, a much different team this second half. What do you make of your team's play and especially the offense there?
Well, field position was a lot better, so that helps. But told them at halftime we'd find out a lot about our offense and our team here, especially that first drive of the second half. And it was awesome to be able to go down the field and score. And I guess we've scored 3 times now without our offense on the ball. That always helps also.
Yeah, you've got offensive touchdowns, defensive touchdowns, special teams touchdowns. How does that make you feel about your 3 units?
Makes me feel good. I wish we had more offensive touchdowns, so I'd feel a lot better. But we're in a good place, and we need to continue to get better these last 15 minutes.
All right, Coach, thanks. Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's the special teams and the defense that have outscored the offense today. 38-3, start of the fourth quarter. Welcome back to a little foggy Williams-Brice Stadium here. They did the fireworks display with Charles Arbuckle. You just heard from Ashley Stroline, Kevin Fitzgerald with you. The Bulldogs out of the MEAC won the conference title a year ago. They're across midfield now as we are about to push past midnight, partner. We got started 2.5 hours late due to poor weather, lightning strikes in the area and near the stadium. So we kicked off around a little before 9:30.
SEC after dark.
It's the SEC after. We are just a few minutes away officially. Ryan Stubblefield has gotten the predominant amount of work here at quarterback for the Bulldogs in this second half. Chennis Berry, he is going to use both his quarterbacks the first portion of this schedule. That's Stubblefield and Atkins, and that is by intent. Out to the flat, good little shimmy that time to get it some separation. And it's Casey Fields who has got just enough for the first down. Pickup of 13 on the play.
Well, back in the day, you used to have quarterback battles where they could go 3 or 4 games until you got into your conference season. And usually your team tells you who is the winner, but all the coaches have said both guys have given us really good production from the quarterback position.
And both had great camps. Stubblefield on the run. That is a difficult pass, and he completes it to Nick Soul.
One of those Benedict transfers. That's the other thing, just trying to get, if you have 40 new players, or maybe even more than that, but 40 new players coming in, you've got to find out who are those guys that are going to step up for you.
Yeah, just an absurd number. It was 44 total newcomers. And as is the case when you are a really quality, call it FCS or maybe non-power conference program, when you have a great year, the odds say you might lose some of your production. And they lost a whole boatload of quality performers from their conference championship team a year ago. Yeah. So they had to bring in some new guys, had to make sure it was the right guys. Casey Fields, by the way, with another strong pickup.
Really
so
nice
it's first
run.
and goal.
Yeah, really nice run by Casey Fields. Yeah. South Carolina didn't have the right personnel on the field.
Well, it sounded like Lee Hedrick, pardon me, announced that this prior play was going to be under review. And they're going to take a look if they're
targeting.
Yeah, if there's going to be a possible targeting added on to this play. So DQ Smith, number 1 in the garnet. Here he comes. Yeah, on the ball carrier that time. So
ball carrier has to be defenseless. And I don't think that was targeting. Yeah, looking at that, I was going to say I don't think he'll be under the hood long.
So no targeting, and it's first and goal for the Bulldogs.
DQ Smith, one of those guys that's a real veteran guy. Hits him in the shoulder area, and they made that a really quick look.
South Carolina State is trying to find the end zone. Hasn't done that yet today. Stubblefield lets it rip, but it's too far out of the reach of Tyler Smith. Had to get rid of that quick. Second and goal.
Stubblefield has come in and showed that, Billy Atkins did a nice job early, but Stubblefield has found some. They hadn't found Jalen Johnson, but they found other weapons, and Casey Fields has really done a nice job.
You're seeing a lot more of Fields this second half. Yeah. South Carolina State has the luxury of playing 7 non-conference games before their MEAC schedule. It's a 6-team league, so you only play 5 conference games. And Chennis Berry has been more than candid about that. Maybe the first 4 or 5 games of the season, he will see who's going to come out and be the more productive quarterback. Stubblefield to the back corner. And Soul is in for the touchdown.
A really nice throw and catch by those two guys. South Carolina State attacked on that drive, and Stubblefield looked really good getting them down the field. Transfer out of Incarnate Word.
11 play, 75-yard touchdown drive. engineered by the 6th-year senior Stubblefield. And so the Bulldogs have found the end zone. Nick Soul makes a nice catch in the back corner. And Cavanillas Alti, no problems on the extra point. Weather delay pushed our start time back almost 2.5 hours. And it was a little choppy start to the game, Charles. South Carolina State found the scoreboard first. They had a 3-0 lead into the second, about midway portion of the second quarter before South Carolina scored a couple of punt return touchdowns. And they outscored their foes 21-0 in the third. Bulldogs have just responded with a score. 4th ever meeting between these two schools.
I think what it does for both teams, it gives you a chance to understand how you need to prepare if you have any weather delays in the future.
You know, it was really bizarre. And by the way, what's going to happen here? Mazio Bennett, are they going to say that he did field that one out of bounds? You're allowed to, you can secure it if you are out of bounds, and it would still be a penalty. So it does appear as if South Carolina is going to set up at the 35.
The ruling on the field is that the receiver was standing out of bounds when he touched the ball. Therefore, it is a free kick out of bounds on the kicking team. The ball will be placed at the 35-yard line for its first down.
Yeah, good heads-up play by Mazio Bennett. Stays out of bounds, put 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Good job.
Yeah, that's the key.
Yep.
You got to have a portion of the body out of bounds. Yeah, good awareness.
The ruling on the field is that the receiver was out of bounds when he touched the ball. The play is under video review.
All right, so we're going to review this one with 12:29 to go in the fourth. So I think the left foot had to have come down before he touched it. That's going to be pretty critical.
The only funny thing I've always thought about this rule is if you're a receiver, you can't go out and be the first one to secure it. You know, like if you go out of bounds and you're not pushed out. But it looks like 1 foot down, both feet.
Yeah, I don't think there was not much to have to sift through, so very
obvious.
quick ruling. Yep. And so for the first time this season, South Carolina will send Luke Doty out there, one of the program vets, 6th-year senior from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Might be the most versatile player on the roster, Charles. He's been a backup quarterback in his career, part-time wide receiver. A few years ago, he was their primary starter. So he's passed for more than 1,500 career yards. It's been a unique career for the South Carolina native. On the ground that time to Matt Fuller. So the redshirt freshman is getting some opportunities. Doty, one of the just cornerstones for this program. A leader.
Always good to have guys like that in your locker room. And one of the other things is will do anything and wants to be a part of the team. And I think that's why he's such a leader, because he's willing to do almost anything they need him to.
And so he finds himself slotted as the backup quarterback this year. For the first time in a few years, he was a wide receiver the last couple of seasons. There's a first down run for Fuller.
Really nice run by Fuller. The finish.
I think that does speak to just the overall strong culture, you know, for this program. Just really feels as if this staff has nailed.
I mean, even when we spent time talking to Coach Beamer and his staff, just all the things you can hear, and even when guys have transferred in, some of the things they've said about how it just made them feel like a real family.
2nd and 12. Doty uncorks it down the middle of the field. Knocked away, but a flag. Looks like this one may go against Marcus Samuels.
Pass interference on the defense, number 21. A 15-yard penalty will be enforced from the previous spot, and it carries an automatic.
He gets there early, and it's a pretty easy call there. And nice job by the receiver of just slowing your body down enough where the defensive guy has to come through you.
So it's 1st and 10 for South Carolina now, all the way down to the 39.
Smart play by Jacobs.
This is Jawan Howell. He gets a carry. And no gain on the play.
That's the other thing. They have some very good backs that can come in and make some plays.
Let's go down to Ashley.
Well, you guys were talking about the culture here at South Carolina in the football program, and one of the ways that the players told me they've been bonding leading up to the season, that's all the activities that head coach Shane Beamer has organized for them. Dodgeball, ultimate frisbee, some basketball. They said we're all super competitive, and this type of stuff only played into it, being able to spend time with each other outside of football, learning to have fun, but also leveling up the competition. And Nick Harbour told me that dodgeball got so serious, shirts were coming off, sweat was flying, and everybody wanted to win that one.
And look, and does it not lead to this? You would think. You see it there in the bottom right. You can see how the program and how Shane Beamer and his staff, they have changed the direction this program is now headed. A few subpar years.
And he was around in those Spurrier days and understands how it's imperative to get the top kids out of the state of South Carolina. I mean, if you're going to compete and be able to win, the state is not big, but they always have very talented players. And that was the one thing he said when he took this job. He said, I have to do that. I need to make sure the best players in the state stay here, and i.e. guys like Lenore Sellers. Or if they're not high star, guys, they can also then say we will have a situation where we'll make sure we have good players that we develop.
They blow this play dead because it looked like the defensive
False
lineman.
start on the offense. Not all 11 players were set prior to the snap. That's a 5-yard penalty, and it remains 4th down.
Boy, I thought for a moment there that they might have caught South Carolina State offsides.
Yeah.
But this one's on the Gamecocks.
Yeah. He's not set. Jacobs is not set. And he's asking, and he's still moving. And he's like, hey, I asked you. You got to tell me. And you're the one that threw the flag on me. That would make me mad.
It's a tough break.
Because you're asking the guy, hey, look, am I in the right position? And he didn't give him the
But back to your prior point, Charles, it just seems as if this program has really nailed that tactful side of the recruiting game, whether it's in-state high school talent, getting the right quality fits out of the transfer portal, and it's led to that turnaround that Ashley was alluding to and what you saw there on the screen a few moments ago. So another flag.
Illegal formation on the kicking team. Number 12 was lined up in the backfield. That 5-yard penalty will be added to the touchback spot.
Well, just a little sloppy sequence here. And so we'll step aside for a moment. 2 big wins. The Bulldogs knock out a ranked team in Arizona State. Missouri beats its cross-state rival. You see some of the other scores. And what the top 10 teams in the country did today, just about all of them outside of Notre Dame were in action. And it was a good week, too. Fields wrestled down. First down carry for the Bulldogs. And a whole lot of points.
Look at Oregon over Oklahoma State. Ah.
Just a one-sided blowout.
Yeah.
And so South Carolina is the only remaining top 25 team that is in action. They got the 38-10 lead. So it was such a prolific offensive day for teams in the top 25. You saw some of those crooked scores. Stubblefield back on the ground to Fields. And not much there, so it'll be 3rd and short. So if South Carolina scores just one more point this evening, it would set a record for the highest scoring day for AP ranked teams in college football history. A lot of offense today. South Carolina would just have to score in any fashion to break that mark. Heck, even a safety would get the job done. They need just the 1 point. Stubblefield floats it. He's got a man. Oh, wow. Burgess hauls it in. That's a nice catch for the junior from Lake City, South Carolina. Gain of 32. Did he hang on?
The air underneath the ball. I think, he held on. That was a nice catch.
Yep. Well, look how he just kind of secures that, rolls it up underneath him.
Make sure you have the ball, put it away so there's nothing that the officials can say.
That was quite a topic, by the way, in a number of games last week. In week 1, South Carolina fans will remember. Nick Harbor had what looked like his first touchdown catch in last week's game against Virginia Tech taken away because he could not complete that catch all the way to the ground, fumbled it as he was pushed out of bounds. Now he ultimately later on avenged that with a 65-yard touchdown catch and run. And we've got another flag down with 6:56 to go.
Play for an illegal block in the back. It is 2nd down.
Well, to your point, Burgess did a nice job of holding the ball going down. And this is Tyler Smith, one of those running backs that we talked about earlier, who has gotten a chance to touch the ball.
There goes Burgess, 2nd and 4 from the 30. Stubblefield stepping up, misfires. And he had a man downfield, could not connect that time. He's looking for John Grant, that's the tight end.
South Carolina State trying to score again. So, hey, look. Make this game respectable.
Got a whole lot of garnet jerseys crowding the line on 3rd and 4. And delay a game.
Prior to the game clock, to the play clock expiring, timeout, South Carolina State. It's their first charge timeout of the half.
So the flag did come in, but Bulldogs used the timeout. Taking on Tennessee in Knoxville. That's Tuesday at 6:30. And then the following day, Florida State's on the road, takes on Oklahoma at 7. Should be 2 great nights of volleyball. 6:21 to go at Williams-Brice Stadium. It's a late night in Columbia. South Carolina State still marching down the field, and that completion is good for a first down. Okay. So the South Carolina State Bulldogs, the reigning MEAC champs, they come up to Columbia, 45 minutes up the road. They score first. They shut out South Carolina in the opening quarter. Their very slim 3-0 lead was lost rather quickly in that second period. Gamecocks recovered, took a lead into the break, outscored a 21-zip in the third. South Carolina State, though, trying for one more score, perhaps.
You had the Vakari Swain show in that second quarter. That just changed everything about this game. Offensively, there's some things they have to clean up. First and foremost, they have to run the football much better if they're going to really be the team that they want to be. And then passing game will come on the heels of that. I think that's going to be the real key factor for them this week. I'm sure, Coach Beamer and his staff are already working towards that because they knew they have Virginia Tech first, South Carolina State second, and then Vandy to start the SEC season off.
It's a Vanderbilt team that scored 44 earlier today in a win against Virginia Tech. Down goes Stubblefield. Pressure in the backfield once again.
This defense has to be happy with the opportunities that they're getting. It's like Dowd.
Yep, Jaquavius Dodd. Fourth South Carolina sack today.
Again, those edge guys, long and athletic, and they just take the offensive lineman back in the backfield and come off.
Celebration on point. But to your point, though, on the offensive side of things for South Carolina, just 92 yards on the ground, and they averaged 3.1 yards per carry.
That's not going to get it done.
Yeah, that will be something that you'd assume would be addressed. Stubblefield escaping. Stubblefield dives across the 20. And so it'll be fourth and manageable, maybe 4 yards to go.
Well, and the other thing at college football is I always say it's hard because you have no preseason games. You now have all of these guys that are coming in that are transfers. Some of them aren't, but some are. So you get new, different pieces to your parts, and that makes it difficult to kind of figure out who's going to do what and how well can they do it each and every week.
Bulldogs going for it. Quick pass to the outside. Little confusion. Stubblefield was looking for Nigel Johnson, and somebody either ran the wrong route or anticipated the wrong route. So a turnover on downs. Ball back to the Gamecocks with 4:09 to go.
Coach Berry wanted that other touchdown. But again, he has a chance now to coach his team as well, just like we're talking about South Carolina. There's some things that the South Carolina State folks can look at and say, okay, here's what we did well, and here's what we have to do much better.
The preseason favorites to repeat as MEAC champs. He showed some positive signs today. So for the first time in his college career, here is Prentice Air Noland. Hands it off on that first down play, and solid pickup. So Air Noland, Charles, is the redshirt freshman from College Park, Georgia, former highly coveted 5-star recruit. So remember, in late 23, commits to Ohio State, didn't play all of last year. Shortly after he commit, Julian Sayin flipped from Alabama to Ohio State. Sayin, of course, I think the writing was on the wall that he was going to take over when Will Howard moved on to the next level. So Nolan hits the transfer portal, finds a home here in Columbia, and these are his first snaps at the college level.
What better name than Air Nolan for a quarterback? He won't get to air it out tonight, I'm sure, but this is an opportunity for him to have some run.
Yeah, first game actually, because he did not appear in any game a year ago. So Ohio State won a national championship. So the clock does keep running after the first down carry for Jawarren Howell. So Nolan's the third quarterback used today in this one-sided affair. We saw Luke Doty previously. While there are things that will certainly be addressed, this is going to be a Gamecocks team that's going to be 2-0 to start SEC play next week, and they dive right into it. It's Vanderbilt, then at Missouri, Kentucky, before their first bye week, that first weekend in October.
You have to feel good about what you have, but look at the next slate of games. Vanderbilt at home for you. Like you said, at Missouri, Kentucky, then at LSU, Oklahoma at home, Bama at home.
And this is the beginning of their SEC slate.
They've got a pretty tough road. But I think everybody can say that across the SEC.
Life in the SEC.
Yeah. Yep.
2-minute timeout. Gamecocks 2 minutes away from a victory. But they have scored in a variety of ways. Through the air, on the ground, a pair of special teams, punt return touchdowns, and a defensive scoop and score as well. 2nd and 4 for Air Noland. First snaps as a college quarterback, and Gamecocks have capped it on the ground. Should be enough for a first down. It was Matt Fuller who moves the sticks. And this is how South Carolina got on the board. Vicari Swain, 1 week after taking one to the house against Virginia Tech.
And then
returns not one, but two.
And you do it in a fashion of South Carolina State, just get the ball down. It was a poor punt because of the block or the tip ball, but Swain heads up again.
Well, he is going to be something special. So the story goes, going into the opener last week, Jalen Kilgore, who has returned punts in the past, and he was going to be the guy to return them again this season. But leading up to week 1, a little bit of a sore hammy, and they decided, all right, hey, we're not going to throw him back there on punt returns. Vicari Swain, go ahead, get out there. Swain, remember, he bobbled and fumbled the first punt,
right?
Okay, that he returned. He was able to jump on it. Shane Beamer says, hey, stay locked in here because you're going to have an opportunity later on. Sure enough, and lo and behold, he breaks the 80-yard punt return touchdown. And we asked Coach Beamer about it. He goes, we're going to have to, give Jalen Kilgore a little Wally Pip lesson here because I think Swain's going to be the guy. On the ground with 25 seconds to go here. That's Howell. And so for South Carolina, again, it was a little bit of a choppy start.
Yep.
Shane Beamer would be the first to admit the first half had some ups and downs, but they flipped the momentum in that second quarter, and the 10th-ranked Gamecocks are going to start 2-0.
Kevin, I always say it is hard to get a win. So when you get it, you just take it however it comes. And I know Shane Beamer and his staff will be ready to go tomorrow and this week. But tonight you're going to celebrate another one that you got under your belt.
It's a 38-10 win for South Carolina in its home opener. Next week, they kick off SEC play here against Vanderbilt. So for Charles Arbuckle, Ashley Stroline, and our entire crew, I'm Kevin Fitzgerald saying good night from Columbia, where South Carolina's a winner.